This is the FlipNerd.com Expert Real Estate Investing Show, the show for real estate investors, whether you're a veteran or brand new. I'm your host, Mike Hambright, and each week I bring you a new expert guest that will share their knowledge and lessons with you. If you're excited about real estate investing, believe in personal responsibility, and taking control of your life and financial destiny, you're in the right place. Hey, this is episode number 443, and my guest today is my good friend, Joe Lieber. Joe's a Cleveland-based real estate investor and has never had a job other than his own business after 20 years. He's bought more houses than he can count, and even his own rental portfolio was into the hundreds. Today's a unique show. For most of our shows, you may not know, but I meet with my guests before we start recording, and we catch up a little bit. These are usually people that are friends of mine, and we talk about what we're going to focus on during that episode. A lot of the guests I have on the show, we could talk about a lot of different things, and we try to hone in onto what they're passionate about right now. In this episode, before we started the show, Joe shared with me on how he's changing his business model from the way he's been operating for the past 2 decades. And we just decided to just start recording our discussion and have a friendly discussion about his specific situation that you can learn a lot from in the process. See, Joe's been buying at auction and through the MLS, something that you can't do in a lot of markets, but you can do in the Cleveland market, or you've been able to. And he's bought several hundred houses that way. He's decided to jump into the direct-to-seller marketing, which is what I've done all along and what a lot of investors do, but it's brand new. It's brand new for somebody like Joe. So we talk about it. So whether you're just getting started in your real estate investing business, or whether you're a veteran and you're in the process of pivoting, which we all are, we all are constantly pivoting to try to improve things or adjust things. There's going to be some great nuggets here that you can apply to your business. Appreciate you guys as we kind of come in towards the end of the year here. Appreciate you a lot. Have some big changes coming up at FlipNerd.com that I'm going to share with you in the episodes ahead. I think you're going to enjoy this one today, though. Let's go ahead and dive in. Please help me welcome Joe Lieber to the show. Hey, Joe, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, good to see you. I'm excited for today. This is the first show. It's kind of funny. I've told you, I haven't really mentioned this a lot, I guess, kind of publicly. I don't really know why. We haven't really, we feel like we have done some great things. We've got a long ways to go, but we're actually right at about our 5-year anniversary of the podcast. I think we technically published in the beginning of January, but I started recording them about this time in December 5 years ago. And but never before. It's funny. I'm trying. It's like you start to try to get some firsts. So I can already tell you the next episode that we do, I'm just going to record myself and I'm going to talk to my audience, which I've never done by myself on the show before. It's always been an interview. And you and I have been buddies for a long time now, several years. And we were just talking about what are we going to talk about today. And I know you got some changes going on in your business. And for folks that are listening, we just decided, let's just kind of make it up as we go along. Joe's got some challenges and some things he's going through in his business. He's had a very successful business for a long time, enviable, really. And he's trying to kind of reinvent himself a little bit. So we literally don't this is like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing, but it's about everything. We have no idea what we're even going to talk about. But we should first, I guess, start off, Joe, with a little bit of an introduction. Tell us a little bit about you and your background.
So, I've been in the real estate business since 1998. So this is my 20th year in business. And I pretty much have done, it's a long time. I pretty much have done every aspect of it,
You've never had a real job. You've always been, you started out of the womb, no.
Pretty much, yeah, man. I graduated high school and it was time to get, I wanted to be in real estate. Didn't know what that meant, but I knew I wanted to do that. So yeah, I started figuring things out, and it's been a long journey, man. It's been a lot of, oh my goodness, man. I always tell people, don't ever do it the way I did it, from 1990 to 2011. I did it with no mentors or coaches, that's a huge mistake. I tell everybody, get a mentor, get a coach. If you can get yourself into a mastermind, if you can get yourself to a level of volume where you can get involved in that, do that. It was an absolute game changer when I started doing that. But I've done every aspect of it, from brokering real estate just to try to pay the bills. And then, you do your retail flips and you do some turnkey and some wholesaling and some property management. And it's been a long ride, man.
Yep.
There's a lot of things going on.
For sure. And so you've done really well as really a buy and hold guy. You're in the Cleveland market, which is very affordable. A lot of Midwestern markets are the rents are good, the values are low. Let's be honest, it's kind of the Rust Belt, so population is probably stable to declining in a lot of Midwestern markets. But housing is relatively cheap, and so it's turned into a pretty good place for buy and holds. And that's primarily been what you've done over the past 20 years, right?
Yeah, that's been my one constant. I remember way back in 1996 sitting in my parents' house in my bedroom, and I really remember those Carlton Sheets commercials coming on where you would be interviewing somebody and there's a palm tree and a boat in the background, the beautiful water. I'm like, holy crap, like what are these people doing, And at that time, pretty much the most traditional thing to do in real estate is have buy and hold. So that's been the one constant in my business. I've always bought and hold real estate. And I'm grateful for that because it's really all about the cash flow.
And that is the name of the game. I'll tell you that I know you're moving in the other direction, trying to do more wholesaling. We're going to talk about that in just a minute here. But I think when I look back at all the hundreds of deals that I've done over the years, like I wish I'd kept more as rentals now it's hindsight now, right? I can look back and say the value's gone up, and just imagine if those are all paid off now. Like it's easy to do that. But I think that is the ultimate escape from because traditional real estate investing, whether you're fix and flipping or wholesaling, is a rat race, right? You're only as good as your last deal, and then it's over. But with buy and hold now, and you know this as much as anybody, rentals could be a pain as well. Like you go through some crap that you just can't believe happens. But in hindsight, building up cash flowing assets, it really allows you the freedom to live a life that you want to live ultimately.
It is. But you know what, Mike, like I've learned a lot of tricks over the years to like try to take that edge off of having maintenance and all that stuff going on.
Right.
Like let me give you like one example of something that I actually learned from Ron LeGrand in 2010. I'm forever grateful for this. At that time, I took all my rentals and put them all on lease option. And by doing that, I was deferring the maintenance to the tenant. So they were responsible for all minor maintenance issues.
Right.
And I saw my net operating income increase substantially just because of that one little twist. So instead of having regular rental, it was a lease with option to buy, and they were responsible for repairs of the property. And bam, just like that, you can increase your ROI.
So to give some perspective, Joe, for folks that are listening before we kind of dive into, I say dive in, we don't really actually know where we're going from here, but but you've owned, I know you've had a little bit of multifamily up there too, not huge multifamily, but you've owned, I guess at the peak before you started to sell some off here over the past few years. What did your rental portfolio look like?
About 215 units.
Yeah.
Mostly single family. I had about 15 doubles, and then I had a 48 unit apartment building.
Okay.
And it was rough, man. Like everybody's running into this multi-family space right now. Everybody is. And that's great. I hope it works. Like I lived it for 10 years. I owned that building, and it was a challenge every day to make that thing work. I say it stole 10 years from me. I could not. I got to break even, but I couldn't make it where I could take a paycheck out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of it's a scale thing too, right? When you have like a couple hundred units, then you have on-site management. You probably you were managing it yourself, right?
Well, yes, but I had a manager there. But like 50 units, 48 units, it's too big for the small guys, and it's too small for the big guys.
Right, yeah.
It's a weird spot to be in. And you're right, like your manager, I don't know what to say. I couldn't probably get the right talent there, and it needed, it was the C- building, so it needed a lot of work, and it was always chasing tenants, chasing repairs.
So you've built up your rental business. I know you sold some off, and you're constantly buying, right?
Yeah.
But you're at this point where, and let's be honest, because I've I want to talk about myself a lot, but sometimes you question, like, I don't really have to work as hard as I do, but something keeps driving me, and I don't know what it is. I actually talked to my wife about it for like a half hour this morning. I was like, well, I'm like setting these goals for next year is kind of what it is that you go. And not that you should have to wait till the end of the year to set goals. And, but I'm kind of thinking like, do I go big or do I just keep it simple and have more balanced life? Because I'm blessed that I've been working hard for a long time and built up some assets and things like that I don't have to work as hard. I mean, I'm not in survival mode anymore, right? Like I live a nice life. We travel, we do a lot of things. And, but it's like, I seemingly am kind of constantly willing to risk it all or take bigger risks to build something that's like, why, and so without talking about my issues of why we do that, why are you trying to change your business and get into wholesaling after all 20 years of building up a rental portfolio? And what we didn't talk about here either is you have helped a lot of people buy turnkey rentals too. Like that was your portfolio, but you've done hundreds more deals, right? That you've helped people build rental portfolios in the Cleveland market.
Huge. Yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
So like, here's what's going on. So like, I got, like I said, 215 units there. I sold, oh gosh, a ton of them, over 100. I'm floating right around 100 units right now. They're all paid for. So I paid everything off with that with the sale of those 115 properties.
Yeah.
And just to add something in there, it's kind of interesting. People say you have pros and cons on this, but I paid my personal house off too. It's a big deal for me. I'm glad I did that. But people say don't do that and this and that. But for me, I just didn't want the debt load. Like, I'm not going to do that. So that was cool. So now I get all this cash flow coming, which is awesome. But I just turned 40 years old last week. All right. So I got a 6 and 8.
Young guy.
Yeah. And I got a 6 and 8 year old at home, dude. Like, I can't retire. You're not going to do that. Nor do I want to. Like, entrepreneurs are not built like that. Like, I'm not going to sit around. So what am I going to do? Right. And turnkey is awesome. I've helped a ton of people. And that's probably part of the problem. I made a lot of friends, man. A lot of friends. I'm always a go-giver, you know. So if someone calls me 2 years from now, like, Joe, I'm having a problem with a property, I'm like so quick to be like, dude, I can jump in and help you, you know. And it gets a little overwhelming, you know, like constantly trying to be a customer fulfillment, and it's just a lot. So I figured maybe I should start wholesaling. Everybody talks about just getting these houses and you're selling them off for little, you know, profits, and it's, you know, I go, that might be a good compliment. And I've done some wholesale deals over the years, obviously, nothing any scale. But now I'm looking at it saying, all right, let's try this wholesaling thing.
Yeah.
Get out of operations and try to just do wholesale, right?
And it's the allure maybe of the kind of get in and out quickly. That's because you know, a lot of people, truthfully, and I'm not. There's people that are veteran investors, and some of them are our friends. You know them too.
Oh yeah.
Obviously we have a lot of mutual friends that are wholesalers. So don't take this the wrong way, but there's a lot of people that do wholesaling when they start because they don't have money, they don't have resources, they don't have things. You have all those things. You don't need those, but for you, it's the allure. It's the attraction of kind of in and out fast instead of tenants and toilets and maybe having, not that you don't like to help people, but at some level you can't scale that anymore. Like, there's not enough time in the day for me to help people.
Mike, it's not even so much tenants and toilets. Honest to goodness, I don't have that many problems there. I really don't. The thing is, when you're running 15, 20 jobs and you're rehabbing all that, and every day Home Depot's calling the office and you're dropping $3,000 a day at Home Depot or more. Friday comes, you got 10,000 going out in payroll just for your contractors. It just somehow just takes it like wears on me a little bit.
Yeah, you know? I get it.
I have a couple $1 million riding at all times. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, get this project done, you know? And
if you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another in an effort to all win. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more. Maybe having, not that you don't like to help people, but at some level you can't scale that anymore. Like, there's not enough time in the day for me to help people.
Mike, it's not even so much tenants and toilets. Honest to goodness, I don't have that many problems there. I really don't. The thing is, when you're running 15, 20 jobs and you're rehabbing all that, and every day Home Depot's calling the office and you're dropping $3,000 a day at Home Depot or more. Friday comes, you got 10,000 going out in payroll just for your contractors. It just somehow just takes it like wears on me a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
I have a couple $1 million riding at all times. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, get this project done, you know? And I don't, and then I have a second office, a second warehouse, an entire contracting team, project managers. That stuff's expensive. So like, I have to run a certain amount of volume.
Sure.
And then you have dispositions. So once you get them all done, you got to dispose of them, right? Or keep them as rentals and put money behind them. Like, there's a whole other thing going on. Like, what are you going to do when they're done?
Yep.
And
it's like a bunch of small businesses strung together. It's like the property management or let's say the rehabbing, that's a whole different business, right?
It is.
You're probably seeing now with wholesale, which we'll get into this in a second, lead generation, because you've just to kind of give people that are listening some perspective, you've bought a lot. You're a broker, so you've bought a lot in your market. You're able to buy a lot off the MLS. You bought a lot of stuff at auctions, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And so even though you've been in this business for 20 years, direct to seller marketing is pretty new to you.
It is new to me. I've only ever bought from wholesalers. Like, we get those postcards in the mail. Everybody gets them that says, I want to buy your house cash.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a wholesaler. So I always just called and introduced myself and said, well, look, I don't have a house to sell, but I will buy from you. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's been a great lead gen. And then MLS was always a great lead gen in the Cleveland area. Like, man, I bought off MLS pretty much my entire real estate career up to the last couple of years. You can't.
Sure.
And then auctions, the court, how like here in Cleveland, you have to go to court steps to bid. They don't have any online things. So that knocks out, 95% of the people, because who the heck is going to go downtown in Cleveland, Ohio in the morning, unless you got someone here who'll do that. And by the way, it's 6 degrees most of the time here, so outside. But that's been the lead gen, yeah. And now, everyone talks about direct to seller. So, but there's going to be growing pains when you're going direct to seller.
No doubt. What are some of those growing pains you're having now, if you could share?
Well, like think about it. So you're going to get an abundance of calls. Everybody knows if you send out 5,000, 10,000 mailers, it's a 1% call and response for the most part. As high as 2%, but we'll just say 1.5. So you got to manage all those phone calls. And then people, I don't want to sell today. Well, what's your follow-up software look like? What's your sequence to call? When are you going to call them back? When you feel like it? Like, you don't know what changed in their life.
Yeah.
You have to have follow-up sequences. And then how are you going to manage the calls that come in? I mean, you don't want to come into your cell phone. I don't want to talk to everybody. And those calls can last anywhere between 5 and 35 minutes. People love to tell their stories, which is cool. But, I can't do that. So I have to get somebody who'll be have to listen to them. And, that's a challenge.
And this, in the last cycle, the last down cycle, there were a lot of people that were buying REOs, doing short sales, like some of those things. And it's a different animal than direct. It's more similar to what you've been doing by buying off the MLS or at auctions, because direct to seller marketing, you are kind of on call for sellers, right? You're mass advertising, and people could call you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
And you got to be prepared for that. Now, that doesn't happen with auctions and short sales and even buying off the MLS. It's kind of like you're in command, you're contacting somebody, and they'll email you or respond when they get a chance, but it's more of kind of it's really more B2B than B2C, right? That's kind of the main difference.
It is. And you're absolutely right. It was so easy to wait for a wholesaler to call you, or, go on the MLS, you see something you like, I'll call my admin and say, hey, pop that offer in on this house, and
right.
But this really is a new game. It can be a great game, and you can find some very lucrative deals, but it's a lot more working, it really is.
For sure. So what would you say, and one thing too, traditionally, I don't know if you'll agree with this in Cleveland, but when you're buying off of the MLS or you're buying at auction, naturally you're paying a little bit more than if you go direct to seller on those things, because, there's more competition. It's getting bid up, or rather than going direct to seller. So that is kind of, said another way, it would be hard for you to buy off the auction. I don't know what's happening with auction volume now in your market, but it's harder to buy at auction and wholesale it on, probably, right?
Very hard.
Yeah. But if you're keeping it as a rental or a turnkey, you could afford to pay a little bit more because you're not looking to flip it really fast. You're like, I'll worry about that in 5 or 10 years.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of cost to this. I mean, you start sending mail, that's expensive.
Yeah.
The softwares, the phone lines to answer these calls, the employees to handle the volume. When you start building that in, wow, Mike, it can get expensive quick.
Yeah, no doubt. And so what's your lesson so far? I mean, ultimately, it's a game of scale, right? If you have to hire an admin, let's just say it's make it up by the time you're paying them in taxes, $50K a year probably, right? So maybe it's less than we're in Cleveland. I don't know, but
every market's different.
Let's say it's somewhere between 35 and 60, depending on where you are in the country.
Sure.
And just for an admin.
Yeah.
Even if you use virtual assistants, which, we won't get into that, but you have costs. And so now it's like, well, I can't layer in $4,000 of cost unless I'm going to get more than $4,000 in incremental revenue, right? You've got to offset it with revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So far, it's not going too well. So far, it's just writing checks.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about the great thing about you, the advantage you have is you're obviously very well connected and know all the heavy hitters in this industry, a lot of the common friends that we have that can steer you in the right direction. And you also know you have the beauty of having had a successful business. You have, you have some resources. You have the ability to play a little bit more of the long game. Not that you want to, but it's not like I have 2 months of advertising and if I don't buy a house, I'm out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for the folks listening though, like it is all about your network. Like when I'm having a problem, you know how many people I can call today and talk to and say, man, what's going on? Why isn't this mail hitting? What do I say? What do I say when I answer the phone or anything? Like, and it's all because of being involved in masterminds, having coaches and mentors. And I can't stress that enough. Like I could just imagine a guy who doesn't have any of that trying to wholesale property, like good luck. And what happens when you do get a yes? Like, how do you know what contract to use and all that? Like you have to have somebody.
Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of funny. Just to use myself as a little bit of a guinea pig, I hired about 2.5 months ago. I hired a personal trainer. Now, here's the crazy thing: is I'm in Dallas, he's in London, and so people are like, "What the hell?" So for me, it's like I don't really need somebody to tell me to work out more and eat better. Like I know I need to do that. Like you kind of know what you need to do, but I have an accountability coach. He's like helping me with mindset stuff. Right? Those are the things that you can't really learn by watching podcasts like this even or YouTube or anything else. Like there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of knowledge out there, but it's just not packaged in a way. If you're starting your business or starting over like you are, so it's hard to just go find that on your own unless you have somebody that you can talk to that's been there before or a coach or a mentor, or, like you said, part of a mastermind group, to basically say, here's exactly how to do it. This is what you need right now. Here's exactly how to, it's more like timely, right? Of like, I need this now. What do I do now? Instead of, let me go see if I can figure out where somebody's talked about this on YouTube before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what are some of the bigger challenges you're having? So you started doing some direct mail. And one of the things you told me before we started here, because we're catching up a little bit, is, you're getting a lot of retail type people calling in right from your direct mail.
Yeah, so we're having challenges with that. And then I thought that, like, I being a broker and owning a brokerage, I thought I could turn some of these retail leads on to have people list. But surprisingly, that's not going that well. People, we're not pulling a ton of listings out of this mail either, which is interesting. And
why is that? Are they saying, well, I already know somebody, or?
Yeah, they want a fast sale at top dollar and don't want to have showings on their house and all this stuff, like unrealistic expectations. Like, dude, like, what, are you kidding me? Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. They want the service of a wholesaler type, investor type, quick sale like an investor, but they want full retail price for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have people like their house.
That's most people, though, to be honest with you. You're going to, that's just most of the people out there. Like, I even say, like, you're the same way. I hope that I never have to sell my house to a dude like me.
Yeah, right.
So.
True. And then people think they're giving you a deal because it's house worth 100 and get it for 92. Like, well, I'm taking 8,000 off what it's worth. It's just so funny.
Right.
But it's all right. That's you're going to kiss a lot of frogs to get the prince, and we're ready for it. We expect it. We're just very new to it. It's only been a couple of months, and yeah.
So what's your team structure look like? You've got an acquisitions guy now.
Acquisition manager. I have the transaction coordinator, which she doubles as the operations manager for my real estate brokerage. So she's doing both. She's transaction coordinating for both, for the brokerage and for the deals we have coming through on the wholesale side, which is not very many anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
did you have an acquisitions person before? You've obviously bought a ton of houses over the years, but that was more, did you have?
I didn't. That was my folks and I. Like, we would kind of share it. Like, my folks would help me out, run to the auction for me, or if I needed them to see a house that I saw from a wholesaler or from MLS, I'd send them out sometimes, kind of just work it together a little bit.
Yeah. So that's new. That's new to you too, right? And
it's new to me. Yeah, absolutely is.
How does your acquisitions guy feel about is it, let me ask you this, since you have a brokerage and you know a lot of agents, is it somebody that is an agent, or is it somebody totally new?
He's not an agent, totally brand new to the business.
Okay.
He's 2 years old, just graduated from a local university here in the Cleveland area, and he's looking to start his career. And we had a chance to meet, and he seems motivated and excited and wants to learn real estate, always has. And I was like, well, dude, like, I've been around the block for a long time, so
yeah,
I want to start this new division in my company, and you might be a good fit for it.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Role here, giving it a role.
Yep. And then one of the challenges you have, just kind of talking with an acquisitions manager or a salesperson is probably commission based, right?
It's commission based, but I'm giving him a salary for the next couple of months,
Yeah.
just to kind of get him going a little bit because it's slow here in Cleveland. It's freezing outside. It's December. I mean, there's probably gonna be a whole lot going on, So
Sure.
we're a little salary just to try to offset some of his costs. I'm really trying to put some muscle into this.
Yeah. And, kind of some advice I could give you, which you're going to know some of this, but for folks that are listening is, a lot of times people are like, well, I'm just going to hire an acquisitions manager, or we call them a buyer, home buyer. There's a lot of different names for them, a sales guy or a gal, it could be. But, one of the challenges there is like in your business, sometimes I see new investors and they're not even consistently buying houses yet. And they're talking about bringing on an acquisitions manager, or they do it and it doesn't work out. And, one of the problems is like, if your revenue to the business is inconsistent, like a general kind of salesperson can't handle that as much as you might be able to absorb it in your business. So it's like, so said another way, let's say you buy a house a month and the acquisitions person makes $2,000 a month from that. It's like, okay, are you going to find a loyal, committed person to you and your business that's making $24K a year? It's like, no, it's not going to happen, right? So when you're advertising and you're thinking about bringing on a acquisitions manager, sometimes you have to like step up your game from a lead generation standpoint to create a big enough opportunity for somebody to come in and treat your business like it's theirs, Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. You do.
Yeah.
There's a fear and uncertainty. You're going to take X amount of dollars and put it aside and say, whatever it is, I'm going to invest, $50,000 into this aspect of my business. And oh my gosh, I hope it works, man. It's kind of where I'm at with it. And we'll just see where it goes. We'll have to talk in 6 months, and I'll tell you how it's going.
I'm sure we'll be talking before 6 months.
No, I know it will.
But so what are some other challenges you're facing?
Well, there's that, and getting them rehabbed. Like the houses that I have now, I still have the turnkey stuff in the pipeline that I'm trying to finish out.
Yeah.
So, just all the rehabs, checking quality contractors. The retail's slow here in Cleveland. I don't do retail, but I have like 5 retail deals sitting on the MLS right now. It's so stale, it's insane.
Dallas is one of the hottest markets in the country, and it's slow right now. I have some houses that are sitting for an uncomfortably long period of time right now in some of the most desirable areas. I'm like, what's going on? We've taken some price reductions, and it's slowing down. It's obviously a slow time of the year relative, but things are slowing down everywhere.
Everywhere is going on. I was just out in San Diego last week and saying the same thing. Like the whole country's a little bit cool. On the retail side, it's cooling off a little bit. Yeah. Which I'm actually okay with because like I want to I'll buy some more houses. I'd love to pick up some more rentals right now at some good price. I think that's going to happen. Yeah.
I'm all right. We were talking about that. Well, you were at Investor Fuel here last month, and we were talking about it too. People are feeling it across the country. I had a couple people, especially a couple of the guys, Rashad in California, kind of freaking out a little bit that it's been hot. And, we always kind of say, California is like the toe in the water. Like when something starts to happen there, it's gonna start to head east.
It's coming across. You're right.
Yeah. So Joe, is your plan with some of these wholesale deals is to wholesale them off to people that you've done turnkey stuff with in the past? You think, or no?
No, it's not my buyers. 2 different buyers. A lot of my turnkey guys are either out of state or they're international.
Right.
And they don't have the crews to get that stuff done. So it's going to be local. It's going to be a whole new buyers group. Yeah. Whole new group of buyers are going to want this stuff. And we're going to see how it goes. I don't want to say I'm going to get completely out of turnkey because I don't know if I really even want to get completely out.
Sure.
I like my turnkey style is I like to buy the houses and own them for a little while for a couple of reasons. One, I like to get some cash flow. I'm not in a race to go sell a house. Like you, I'm at a point in my business where like I'm not trying to get everything. I don't need a paycheck tomorrow, basically, right?
Right.
So I can enjoy some cash flow on the asset. And it helps get the bugs out too. When I say bugs, like you know what I mean. We get a new house, there's things that are wrong and this and that.
Sure.
It helps me get the bugs out of the house by owning them for 6 months. And I don't know. I believe we're going through some new tax challenges, but if I own them for a year, the profit is taxed differently.
Right, for sure.
In saying that, Mike?
Yeah, it's a long term capital gains typically. So don't anybody listening right now take tax advice or
me either.
Advice. Don't take medical advice from me. Don't take legal advice. Doesn't mean I won't have opinions on a bunch of stuff, but don't take my advice.
Yeah.
I mean, without checking with somebody that is an attorney or CPA. But yeah, I think that should be long-term capital gains.
Yeah, so that's going to save me some money there if I hold them for a little while. And
yeah.
Yeah, I like doing that. So I'll probably do a little bit of that too, and
Yeah.
see what happens over the next 6 months. But
Yeah, yeah. One of the things is that I firmly believe this, and of course, no matter what exit strategy you use, whether you're wholesaling them off or whether you're keeping them as buy and holds or you're turnkeying them, you always have to get better at the acquisition side, right?
oh
And that's
yeah,
why I like what you're doing. Even if you decide to turnkey them or keep them as rentals yourself or whatever, it's great that you're getting into the direct to seller acquisition side because you don't want to be a one-legged stool with auctions or anything else. So the best profits, and I know there's a lot of cost that goes into it, but once you get the business dialed in, the most profitable deals are going to come from direct to seller typically.
I agree with that. You're definitely gonna get them cheaper. I see what some of these wholesalers are buying houses for in my neighborhood that I buy from. I'm like, holy smokes, you guys get some good deals.
Yeah, but the good part for you is, I think one of the things that I firmly believe is that your exit strategy might change with market cycles, right? It
Yeah,
might change with even your own situation, like, hey, I'm building up too much inventory or I'm a little short on cash this month or whatever it might be. But and the reality is and I haven't kept a lot of rentals over the past few years because it's been a seller's market. So I firmly believe in a seller's market, you should be doing more selling activities, right? It's just the prices are going up, up, up. And in a buyer's market, it's an opportunity to do more holding, do more buying, and kind of not selling off. At the end of the day, you're a smart guy. You should just kind of ebb and flow with the market and the situation. As long as you're good at acquisitions and you can get the machine running, then your exit strategies will change as the market flows.
I agree, and
Yeah.
I appreciate that advice too, Mike. Like triggers, like it's not, it's a. I was called trigger data, but I call it trigger data, where like you're buying like the probates and the divorces and the utility disconnects and the tax delinquents, and
Yeah.
that's going to be the best data.
Yeah.
I'm
For
going
sure.
for all that and trying to stay from the list sources of absentee owner high equity. It didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
So trying to get those triggers.
The other thing though is even with direct mail, and everybody that you've talked to that's trying to help you with this has told you the one thing you don't like. You probably get a bunch of postcards and stuff from people, other investors, because you have a rental portfolio. I mean, I do too. I get stacks of stuff in our PO box, and you know, I'm a student, so I'm always looking at stuff. So like clockwork, I'll get like some of the big home buyers in town, some of the big kind of more professional ones. The mail never stops. Like I get it all the time, and I've never sold them anything, and they never stop mailing to me. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that I get one time. Like I just threw it away, literally before we started the show. I got this. I've never seen one like that. I mean, this is a really lengthy handwritten letter on like stationery. I mean, I've
Wow.
never seen one. I've seen some handwritten letters before, but this one was, actually got it right here.
Oh, this is cool.
It's a long letter. I mean, I'm not going to,
Smokes.
I don't want to cover up the guy's phone number. I don't know why, but anyway, it's a long letter. It's got like the torn edge. I mean, this is like a
Serious.
invitation to something, you know? So
Yeah.
anyway, my point is I'm a student. I like to look at that stuff because I want to see what other people are doing. That's obviously not scalable. I've never handwritten anything, but my point in saying that is that I get like whoever that guy is, I got one letter one time. This has actually been sitting on my desk for a couple months, so I just threw it away. But my point in saying that is I get mail from a lot of investors, and I see their postcard. It looks different, or sometimes it's a letter, and it's not uncommon to get it one time ever, and I never see anything from that person again. And it's because there's some people that get in that don't have much of a budget, so they might get knocked out of the game quickly, or at least in terms of spending money on marketing, which will knock you out of the game quickly unless you have another way to buy. Or two, they mail one time and they give up. It didn't work, and now I'm done. So consistency is key. You got to stick with it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. You're absolutely right. It's all about that. It's all about consistency and keep hitting it. Like 7 touches, I think it is. And you have to have great follow-up sequences and all that.
Yep. Yep. Awesome, man. Well, I'm excited to see where you take your business here, and I'm here to help you in any way I can.
I appreciate it. I do.
Yeah. For folks that are listening right now, how can they help you in Cleveland? You're looking to build your buyers list up, so
Yeah. So if
cash buyer. So where should they go if they want to get on your cash buyer list?
So I just drop me an email and I'll send it over to, or actually, you know what? We're going to do something different because I'm always the one to want to run into operations. So here we go. This is something new now. I'm I'm going to have you email my acquisitions manager.
Perfect.
It's at, what's his email? Cleveland. What's your email, buddy? CLEhousebuyers@gmail.com. He's sitting in the other room right now. I'm like, what's the email? I forgot.
So when I asked you about your acquisitions manager, you had to temper what you really wanted to say. Is that?
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Awesome. We'll add that CLE for Cleveland, CLEhousebuyers@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Cool, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you. And I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too.
Happy holidays. Hey, real fast while I got you, tell me you've been joining us at Investor Fuel. Give the group a little testimonial. I mean, you didn't know I was going to ask you this, and I'm not asking you to say anything that doesn't come from the heart or how you feel. But what do you think about Investor Fuel?
So, I've been with you since inception and of Investor Fuel, and I've really seen this group grow and grow quickly. And really, that's because of the caliber. It's a great caliber. It gets me to keep coming to the group. And I've been around the mastermind scene for a while now. As you know, I met you in a different mastermind. I've been in a couple others. And it's awesome. The collaboration of people you're bringing into that group are really, really high caliber. And even for a guy like me who's been in business so long and I've seen every aspect of it, it makes you keep coming back. I want to keep coming. And I'm very grateful to be a part of that group. I enjoy seeing you guys. And Mike, you just go all out all the time, man. You just sent me, I just walked in here today and I saw coffee and a mug sitting on my desk from you. And you just care and you're so passionate about the group and everyone's success. And that's what makes a mastermind tick. And you're really going all out, man. I think anyone interested, I think anyone that's not in a mastermind should get in a mastermind as quickly as possible. And yours definitely is one of the best ones out there now. It really is.
It's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, for me, it's like, I literally set just to talk about this. I know we're just casually talking here and maybe some thousands of people are listening right now. So hopefully it's not total random offshoot. Although if people are listening to the show, they've heard a lot of random stuff over the years. But, it's interesting. I've been on this kick of improving my life. So I've been focused on health for a while. I've actually lost about 20 pounds over the past 2 months.
Wow.
I haven't really said that on a microphone before, I'm trying to like, hey, in my business, I have a scorecard. We're looking at metrics every day. We meet once a week and we've gone through the EOS process from the book Traction, and we have like a level 10 scorecard. How many leads did we get for each of these businesses? How many, kind of the funnel, how many did we close? Like, where are we at? And we drive our business. We're very analytical in our business, but in my personal life, I never am. I'm just like, whatever happens, and never think about what I eat or whatever. I just do what I want, So I started to get very systematic about setting goals in like fitness, family, like fun stuff, and friends, and they all happen to be F's, right? But anyway, just for each part of my life, and I'm not going to show it to you right now, but I have a scorecard. Every day I score myself. How did I do? So inside a family, I have my wife and my son. I'm like, and I have a couple things I'm tracking, like, did I spend some one-on-one time with my son today? Because too much time goes by, and sometimes I see him all the time. I'm taking him to school, all this stuff, but I don't ever just sit there. Not enough. I don't sit down and I say, what's going on, buddy? What are you doing? You want to play a video game? You want to do something? It's like, I'm more conscious of it now. Like, I want to put focus on that, just little things. But anyway, when it came to my business, because I picked some of these tips up from this personal trainer that I'm working with, and he talked about he didn't have friends on there. He had business, right? Some business tracking. Well, I'm already tracking my business. And the more I thought about it, I was like, my friends are my business. Like that's kind of one and the same. I have some friends that I grew up with in high school or whatever that were buddies, and they're not in the real estate game, but it's very few. I mean, my business and my friends are almost one and the same now because of the mastermind and the coaching. Everybody that comes in our coaching programs, not everybody, but a lot of them, we end up becoming friends. Like, it's just how it is. So I don't know why I'm talking about that right now, but
no, it's awesome. And Mike, you're absolutely right. And that's another point to be brought up for the people out there in the real estate business. I mean, you have to surround yourself with people, that are like-minded and like you to help you grow and achieve what you want to do. And people might just think, oh, I don't want to join a mastermind, it's expensive or whatever. But you're not just buying an education. You're buying new friends. You're buying a new life. You're buying the dream that you want to wake up to every day. And you have to be around people just like you, to think like you and act like you to accomplish those things. So I totally hear what you're saying, man. It's all great things you put out there.
Cool, buddy. Well, I do appreciate you. Wish you the best in your business. I know we'll be talking again soon. And down below here, we're going to add a link for if folks want to get on Joe's cash buyer list in Cleveland, where to go to get on that list. And I know Joe. He is pivoting a little bit here, but there's no doubt that he's going to start crushing it up there. We've known each other for a long time. I know he doesn't play games. He's in a transitional moment here, but so if you're looking to buy houses in Cleveland, I know Joe's going to have some opportunities for you.
I look forward to it, my man.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great, we're coming up here on the end of the year, so have a great new year, and I know we'll be talking soon.
Look forward to it. Take care, Mike.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. This is episode number 443. My buddy Joe Lieber up in Cleveland. Really appreciate you joining us. As we kind of wind down the end of the year here, we actually have some big changes coming up with the podcast. We're actually right at about our 5-year anniversary, and we've decided to kind of rebrand, and it'd still be Flip Nerd branded, of course, but kind of change the direction of the show a little bit after 5 years. And so we're going to keep doing the show for sure. I love doing it. I love talking with my friends, right, and people that I admire and respect. But we're gonna step it up to a new level in 2019. So appreciate you guys. I'll tell you some more about that soon. If you're not already, if you're thinking, well, what does Mike want? What's on his Christmas list? What does he need? Here's what I'd love. Go out to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you watch us at, and leave us a positive rating and subscribe to get our shows. We've been creating, this is episode number 443. I promise you that is thousands of hours of work to create this content for you guys over the years. And I love doing it. And what really keeps me going is just inspiring, getting feedback from people that I learned something great, or we love your content, or keep them coming. That type of stuff really kind of energizes me to keep coming at you. So appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next show. If you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another in an effort to all win. Real estate investing can be a lonely business for successful real estate investors, but it doesn't have to be. Investor Fuel members meet 4 times a year, but we talk to each other 365 days a year, and we focus on improving the profitability of our businesses, improving the quality of our lives. That's why we do this, right? And making an impact on those around us so we can truly leave a legacy. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the FlipNerd.com Investing Show. If you're not yet a member of FlipNerd, you're missing out. We have tons of great training, including a new detailed masterclass published each month and live training webinars with experts twice a month. Plus, you'll get access to all of our archives, where we already have a growing library of masterclasses and other training videos. Members also get membership in our incredible online mastermind group, where many of the top real estate investors from across the country, including many of the hundreds of guests I've had on the show in the past, are already members. Whether you're brand new, looking to get started, or a veteran, you simply must join today. I promise you won't be disappointed. To learn more or join today, please visit flipnerd.com. That's flipnerd.com. See you on the next show.